Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is going to be the 5th war of the season as I'm going back and reliving some of these moments. This is against the SpBa alliance. They are, as far as I can tell, a pretty big spending kind of whale alliance because we saw a ton of rank 4's on this defense. They also banned Spider-Man 2099, who has been sort of my go-to this season. So because of that, I have a slightly lighter load today. It's only going to be 5 fights. And we're going to get to showcase rank 4 Doom and rank 4 Apocalypse, which are always great champs, both of them not banned here. So we're starting off with Kraven, and you might think Apocalypse is a little bit better against Kraven, but on this node, because of the regen buffs and everything, we're just going to be allowing our stagger and mystic dispersion to be just completely bypassing this fight. Now, if the fight was less safe, maybe a Magneto House of X pre-fight would be useful because as I'm continuing to stun him, kind of like the Limber Mastery, I'm losing duration on my stun. But that only does apply to debuffs. So after we throw our special 3, we do get the full duration of the stun. I'm not running any mystic boosts, so we do a normal Doom cycle as opposed to a shortened Doom cycle there, and then one special 2 and he goes down. So rank 4 Doom, if he can take path 1, node, the first node on it there, then the regeneration really does not become any issue. And unlike before, when they used to have unblockable on that node, it's actually a little bit easier to counter these days than when it also had the vigorous assault, at least in my opinion. So next up, we have Green Goblin, who we haven't seen on defense much lately, simply because he was a high ground defender and doesn't really scare people that much otherwise. So on this node, I don't really have a way to counter anything that Green Goblin would do, like his healing and the reduction of my power rate and things like that. However, Apocalypse just completely bypasses masochism. When you're planning a war, you know, basically if there's masochism, if there's conflictor or something like that, and you're able to use Apocalypse and it's safe, then he's just going to be the best for it because all of your debuffs are going to land. And then additionally, you know, you're not going to have to worry about the regeneration from masochism. There is a little bit of regen in the kit of Green Goblin, but in case you didn't know, it's only off of the basic hits, so he doesn't regenerate the damage off of the special attacks, and considering Apocalypse has most of his damage off of those big specials, it's not really going to be an issue. So now, of course, he's not throwing his level 2. I just sort of conveniently blocked the first part of it and then allowed him to dex the rest of it instead of trying to get that dex, because if you do miss that first dex, you could actually get completely destroyed by that special 2. So in war, unless if you have it 100%, I just recommend blocking that first hit. And as you can see, you know, Apocalypse didn't really even flinch there. So now, not only is Doom on our team, but we're going to be going up against this rank 4 Doom on node 26. This is a fight that I was pretty familiar with from previous seasons. We have a couple other Apocalypse players in our battle group, but today I was on Apocalypse duty simply because of the bans and how that all worked out. So always happy to use Apocalypse. I'll walk through this fight just in case you haven't seen it before. Our main strategy here is just the disorient immunity that we can get. So we take 1 blocked hit. He was pretty friendly with throwing the heavy attacks, so we were able to not get backed into the corner. And at this point, we are immune to disorient. And also the window of opportunity stun has fallen off. Now, a couple seasons ago, Apocalypse had the wither debuffs off of that, I think it was called Power Down. And that made this fight even safer. I think this season, Immortal Abomination is actually a very good counter here because of the Defiance tactic. So because of that, we do not have to worry about Mystic Dispersion if we're using Immortal Abomination. So I do think he's an equally good counter, but Apocalypse is just so tanky. And as long as you basically, like, if you're going to push Doctor Doom to 2 bars of power, you kind of want to just leave it there and then start dexing it out, because where you can get into trouble is if he's at like 2.5 bars of power and then you accidentally trigger Mystic Dispersion and stuff like that. So yeah, overall pretty safe fight with Apocalypse, especially when it's a rank 4 against a rank 4. And that will be that. And now we're using Doctor Doom for path 8. This has the Rich Get Richer node, which means when the opponent has more buffs than you have, they're going to be gaining extra power. And this is potentially a little dangerous because Symbiote Supreme already has passive power gain. He has the Mastery Mystic Dispersion, and he also has the Tactic Mystic Dispersion. And, you know, if power gets out of control and Doctor Doom accidentally procs a buff and then you miss, your power control can go out the window very fast if your special one misses, for example. So we do have to be a little careful here, even though generally speaking, Symbiote Supreme isn't that scary. We just have to watch out for the power. And right there, I swear I hit the backwards button, but he dashed into the heavy. So we used the first hit of the indestructible. But, you know, we still do have 2 extra hits of that. So hopefully, you know, if anything crazy happens, we can tank a special 3 if we need to. But he doesn't have buffs for the whole fight, but he does occasionally. Now, we are able to stagger the buffs, so landing the heavies is pretty important. But, you know, essentially he's going to be getting power gain buffs, and then he also gets some like smaller buffs, like a protection buff and things like that during his second phase. But yeah, the inputs were not very friendly in this one. There was a little lag spike, and then no idea how he connected those hits off of me. So we wasted our entire indestructible right there. Because we had the stagger on us, our Fury from the special 3 disappeared and it triggered Mystic Dispersion. So right now we just have to be on top of our power to make sure that we keep that aura up. I'm going to try to get to my special 3 again, and this time I'm going to try to make sure that I don't have a stagger on me, because the stagger, like the last time, got rid of that Fury, and the Fury does count during the special 3 animation itself, so we want it on there just to completely finish him off, and it works out. So yes, I will say that was input issues 100%, swiping back and moving forward, and then my block completely breaking, even getting a couple bleeds on me. But Doctor Doom rank 4, just so tanky, it's kind of ridiculous, if you know what I mean. So we are in really good shape taking that fight. I bet even if we took the special 3 outright, we would have survived it. And there's not much that can stop Doctor Doom if power is an issue. And then on this one, we have the same type of node with the Rich Get Richer. The only difference is that there's also Aspect of Evolution, which is one of the most annoying nodes in the game. And then on top of it, Silver Surfer does have the Tactic, and he's rank 4. So, you know, even though on paper we've got this matchup settled, I did have somebody place some Odin pre-fights for me here, which is just going to help a little bit. It means that we're going to be gaining plenty of power, and for the most part we're going to have 3 unique buffs on us, whereas he's not going to get any, and it just makes it a little bit safer. So that was part of the plan, was to get those Odin buffs here. I think for sure Doctor Doom can do this fight without them, but I just wanted to kind of make sure that it was fully safe and we were able to fit in the Odin on somebody else's team. Now, I don't think it would have mattered if I had them earlier, because Symbiote Supreme would have just nullified all of them at the beginning of the fight. So that's another reason why Symbiote Supreme is pretty good on path 8, because you can't rely on, Odin pre-fights or anything, because he'll just nullify them and do direct damage to you before the fight even starts, which is a bad strategy. But we were able to fit them in here, and it's going to be a little slow just watching these special 3s, but overall we can just sort of do our normal Doom type stuff and be completely in control of the fight. You can see we're passively gaining power because we are still in charge of this match in terms of the rich get richer. And I do think in general this match wouldn't look that different if we didn't have the Odin buffs on us, but it's just an added security blanket to make sure that we get him down cleanly, and that's the end of Silver Surfer. So this was a bit of a shorter war for me. We did end up winning this war. It was a pretty important one early in the season because we are on track to get Master still, and we definitely needed the win on this number 5 war, and we got it. So really proud of the team. I had a little bit of a lighter load, but got to use rank 4 Doom, which was really fun. And with that, that's all I got for you today. So thanks for checking it out, and I'll catch you in the next one.